Good afternoon. Welcome. This is the workshops for 2023 hosted by the Hostos Student Leadership Academy. Very happy that you could join us today. This is day one, Monday the 9th. We had a great session this morning and we're about to have an inspirational session right now. My name is Jason Lipfeld and I'm the coordinator for the Student Leadership Activity. Here I go. We're recording and I've already slipped up. I'm the coordinator for the Student Leadership Academy here at Hostos. We're happy to have you with us. We know we have some Hostos students here. We also have representatives from CUNY here in our house. And so we're excited that you've joined us today. My good friend Derice has joined us for this workshop. And he's got a workshop that he's going to present that is going to be motivating for you. To get you and all of us on the right track towards, this new journey in the new year. And that's why we do the winter workshop series the way that we do them right at the very beginning so that we can get things kicked off really well. So without further ado, I'm going to back out of here. I'm going to leave this to you and turn it over to Mike.
Thank you, Jason. Super excited to be here. I'm so glad that we do this at the kickoff of the year because, the way you start something impacts the way it finishes. So by a show of hands, you could just put it in the chat real quick. How many of you, just give me a 2 in the chat if you're like, I was extremely satisfied with my 2022. Put a 2 in the chat. If you feel like I could have been a little bit better or 2022 could have been a little bit better for me, put a 5 in the chat. So I'm gonna say that again. Put it on. Can you hear me? I got muted for a second. So put a 2 in the chat if a 2 in the chat if you're like 2022 was bomb. Lit, it was amazing. I don't want to change nothing. Let me just get a do-over again. Or if you're like, give me a 5 if you're like, you know what? 2022, I'm glad you kind of moved on. 2023, what you got for me? I just want to see who's in the room. I just want to see who had a really good 22. I see 5, 2. All right. So Ashley and Kobe like, yo, like 2022, come on, bring it back again. Jose is like, yo, 5. Like I could do a little bit, a little bit different, something a little bit different. And here's the thing I wanted to share with you, Al. Kobe said 5. I meant okay. So here's the thing that's very interesting. Anybody made any New Year's resolutions? Yeah? Anyone made any New Year's resolutions? No? Yes? Let me see in the chat. Who made New Year's resolutions? I see Aisha said yeah. Ashley said yeah. Sabrina said no. No New Year's resolutions. Okay. Who else? Who made New Year's resolutions? Ashanti said no. Jose said yes. People still do that, Sabrina said. People still do that. That's so yesterday. Canoe said no. So obviously there's a mixed bag. There's a mixed bag of no's and yeses. But here's the interesting thing I want to share with you when it comes to New Year's resolutions. Many people still do it, even though Sabrina's like, what? People still do it. Don't let it get it twisted. Don't let that vision board party confuse you. That's some New Year's resolutions. They just call it a vision board party. But one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to New Year's resolutions is that people set them, but only 8% of the people who set them actually get what they were saying they're going to do in the first place. Whether it's losing weight, whether it's getting rid of debt, whether it's finding a new boo, like whether it's going to another college, whatever it is, only 8% of the people who set New Year's resolutions actually accomplish whatever they said. 8%. Which then means that 92% of the people who set them fail. They don't hit the mark. And there's different reasons why that can be, right? Circumstances, maybe you weren't specific enough, you don't care about it as much as you did on January 1st. There's many reasons why you may not finish that resolution. But here's the reality that I want all of us to understand is I think sometimes the reason why we don't set resolutions is because we're afraid of not hitting them. I'm gonna say that again. Sometimes the reason we don't set something, so if I don't set a resolution, you can't say it failed if it doesn't work. So I'm not gonna set none at all. Now, take the word resolutions out and put goals. I'm not going to tell you what my goals are because if I miss them, you now think I failed. I'm not going to tell you what my dreams are because if I tell you, you're going to go and check on me and ask me, yo, what happened to that dream you said? I thought you said you wanted to be a doctor. Haha, you're not a doctor yet? Oh my gosh. And so the narrative and the story and the pressure of setting goals, setting resolutions, setting expectations, we say, let's not set them at all so that I don't have to deal with the pain, embarrassment, and disappointment of failing. And I see Jose said it's so true. And so today, the reason why I said I thought of what could I bring to Hostos? What could I bring? Tiffany agreed. Thank you. What could I share that has had a profound impact in my life, but also a profound impact in every single person's life that I know that has been successful? What thing can I talk about in the beginning of the year that could set you up for success for a lifetime? And so my goal today is to go and talk about failure because I know I'm not even going to ask y'all a question. Normally, I would ask the question, how many of you want to be successful? I know that's inevitable. You're on a Zoom. I know it's kind of cold outside if you're in New York City. I don't know where you're watching from, but it's sunny. It ain't raining. So I know we could be somewhere else. But you're on a Zoom attending a winter workshop series to learn something in hopes that it'll impact whatever your tomorrow goals are, dreams are. And so I know you want to be successful, but I think the challenge of being successful is that we never address the failure part of it. If you was to take a coin, I wish I had one on my desk, but I don't. But if you was to go and take a coin and you was to see, okay, there's a heads and a tails, there's two sides to the coin. Life is the same way. Success and failure are on the same coin. And by avoiding the conversation of failure, we also now forfeit the opportunity of success. Do y'all catch what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna stop right there for a second. Do you catch what I'm putting down? Like, what I'm throwing at you? Like, if we say, I don't want nothing to do with failure, then what we are also saying by saying that is maybe I don't want that much to do with success. And so my goal is to go and say, yo, how do I make failure my friend? How do I make failure my friend so that it no longer stops me from the best version of me? If y'all are ready to go and hear that, listen, this is going to be good. I promise you, and I'm going to hear from you all too. If y'all are ready to hear what I got to share with you, put a 7 in the chat. I just want to make sure. I don't want to share if y'all not ready. I just want to see. I see Tiffany wrote a 7 immediately. Sabrina says 7. Okay, I just want to see the flood. Let me see like a good stock. I actually wrote 77,777. All right. Ashanti in the building. Bernice, okay. Leighton, okay, 7. I see 7s. Okay, let's go. Here's the question that I have for all of us here. And I just want to hear it from you. I don't want to go and say what it is because I think you know and you all have had a personal relationship with failure. And here's the thing, before I even go and ask you that question, I think the way we look at failure is like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if you've ever done this, then I've done it too, so don't feel ashamed if you've ever done this. And don't laugh at me or think I'm a bad person after I share this, all right? Have you ever been like at a bus stop or you've been walking in the street and you see a bus coming and you see somebody from way down, maybe a block or two, and they see the bus coming too and they start running for dear life because they gotta catch that bus? And then when it comes right to the point where they could have got the bus pulls off and they don't get the bus. Have you ever seen this before? Have you ever seen somebody run for the bus? Maybe it was you who was running for the bus. And you're like, yo, that bus, yo, come on, man. Like, you just left me. What's going on? Jose said me, LOL. Jose, here's the thing. Don't judge me, but I've been that guy who was on the street who saw that and started laughing. I said, he thought he was going to get the bus. That's crazy. And I would laugh at that. Priscilla says guilty. LOL. Tiffany said both, right? I've seen that situation and I've laughed at that situation, but I never realized how did that shape how I looked at attempting. That person was trying to catch that bus. But what happened in me laughing about it, I ended up starting to have a negative impact with the word try. I said, I ain't gonna try for the bus unless I know the bus is absolutely gonna be there when I get there. I'm not gonna try to run to the turnstile and get that train because I don't wanna be the person outside the train going like this on the door while every single person on the train is looking at me and like, you should have been here on time. You should have looked at the clock. It said 2 minutes. That disappointment, that embarrassment, that is the thing that stops a lot of us from trying. If we could just try in a vacuum and nobody would see, I would argue more of us would try stuff. But because of the fact that someone is going to go and have some receipts, they're going to see me trying and they're going to be like, haha, I'm not going to deal with that. So here's the question that I want to ask to all of us here. The question I have is, not this one, hold on a second, is this question right here. What is the fear of failing costing you? What is the fear of failing costing you? Just put it in the chat, flood it, let's go. What is it costing you? Ashley said nothing. Priscilla said, oh my gosh, so much. Priscilla, let me name some of them. Aisha said self-judgment. Self-judgment. I like that. Sometimes it's not even the judgment of others. It's the judgment I have of myself because I could hide from people. I can't hide from me. So that's good. Self-judgment. What else? What is the fear of failure costing you? Tiffany said yes, self-judgment. Priscilla says schoolwork, commitment with friends. Jose said it's costing me from living my best life. Yes. What else? What is it costing you? Because until we know how expensive it is, we won't ever react with the right kind of energy. Tiffany says it's costing me to not try again. Rosini said advancement in life. Priscilla says progress. Right? Like, think about this. Like, it is costing you progress. It is costing you the attempt to try again. And maybe that try again would be better. It's costing you advancement in life. Do you know what it feels like to be stuck? Right? Delroy said, wow, thanks for that. I'm in a wheelchair and that happens to me all the time. It's not funny. That's an ADA problem. Thanks for having me. Yes, Delroy, nice. Thank you for being here. Right? So like we think about all these things that is costing us. And I want you to understand the fear of failure and us avoiding it is just too expensive and it's costing us way too much. And so the goal of this workshop is to get our lives back, that version of our lives where it could be better. And so here's what I want to share with you. Here's the approach that we want to start to think about. Successful people approach failure. Unsuccessful people avoid it. This is something y'all could screenshot this, post it on social media, whatever. But this is something you want to save to yourself, for yourself, and share with those you care about. Because the reality is, those who approach failure, in the approaching of failure, they also approach and increase their probability of success. Those who approach failure also increase the probability of success because you can't separate them. They're often sitting right next to each other. They're often on the same coin. Unsuccessful people, what they do is they avoid failure. I don't want to feel that embarrassment. I don't want to feel that shame. I don't want no one laughing at me. I don't want people thinking that my attempt was funny. So I'm not even going to try. But here's a quote I want to share with all of you that when I heard it the first time, I wish I made it up. But when I heard it the first time, I said, yo, hold on. This thing hurts. This one stings. Hold on. I'm going to need a minute. The quote says that avoidance is the best short-term solution for long-term suffering. I'm going to say it again. Avoidance is the best solution, the best short-term solution for long-term suffering. What does this mean? And Priscilla says, ouchie. Right? Like, when I heard that, I felt like it was like all the spankings my parents gave me all at once. When I heard that quote, I said, yo, ooh. I said, I can't even sit down after that one. I need to walk around for a little bit. Like, this one hurts. But it's the interesting thing is, in the short term, avoiding failure seems like a good strategy because you don't have to deal with the embarrassment. You don't have to deal with the pain, but that's for right now. But if you avoid that feeling, what happens is that feeling stays forever. Now it's long term. I rather deal with short term embarrassment, short term failures, short term you laughed at me and be the last one to laugh. So you laugh first, cool. I want to get the last laugh. And in order for me to do that, I need to approach where others are avoiding. I need to approach. That means failure is right in front of you. You don't go around the block. You don't find a detour. No, you go straight. You go straight at that thing. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because for a lot of us, there's something we would try if failure wasn't possible. There is something right now you could think about. I'm sure right now you could think about and say, if I couldn't fail, I'd do this. If I couldn't fail or if I wasn't going to get rejected, I'd apply for that scholarship. If I couldn't fail or be rejected, I would go and do that 4-year college. I would go and get my master's. I would go apply for that job. I will go and ask for forgiveness from a friend of mine. But because I don't want the person to say no, I'm just going to avoid it at all costs. And by saying that you're going to avoid the no, you also avoid the possibility of the yes. There's nothing more painful. There's a quote that says this: there's nothing more expensive than a missed opportunity. And failure has been robbing you of opportunities your whole life. And I am here to unleash war to say, failure, no more. Failure, no more. You done stole too many things from my life. No more. I'm drawing the line in the sand. This is 2023. You may have robbed me of 2022, 21, 2020. All them years you took away from me, I'm taking back. I'm not running. I'm coming right towards you. Get ready. Right? I think when it comes to jobs, I'm more like that. Right? Like when we think about jobs, it's like we start to say, if I apply for the job and they say, no, you're not good enough, we immediately say, dang, man, I'm not good enough for real? Shucks. And we start to interpret that. But I also want you to understand that sometimes the rejection is a redirection. Sometimes that job wasn't the right one for you, even though you thought it was. But how will I know if I don't apply? How do I know to go and look for something else if I don't go and see the thing that's right in front of me and address it? The avoiding can't be the solution to us getting to our best lives, advancement in our lives, progress in our lives, to open up ourselves to opportunities in our lives. Avoidance is not a good term. It's not a good short-term solution, and neither is it a good long-term solution to being able to go and accomplish this. And I stay on this because I think there's two movies at play here: the life that we have or had, and the life we could have. And the life we could have, oftentimes, the only thing that stops that play button from me seeing that version of the movie is the thing that I'm afraid of addressing, the thing that I'm trying to avoid. And I just want that to no longer be the case. I don't no longer want that to be a kryptonite. I see in the chat, perfectionism also is a big barrier for me. Priscilla, perfectionism, I just finished reading a book on it, a book called Finish by John Aikoff, and it was all about perfectionism. Anybody else could relate to that? Perfectionism is the thing that kind of hold you back. Anybody just put in the chat. Let me see if you like Priscilla and I. Isadora said yes. Perfectionism, right? Jose said yes. Perfectionism. Anybody else like perfectionism? Like Sabrina, Canoe. Priscilla says yes. I can't finish things unless it's perfect. And Priscilla, like, it's crazy. It's not crazy, but what's very interesting that I find, Rosini said, Rosini, I think. Rossini, okay. Yes, many times, right? That perfectionism. My problem with perfection is different. Aisha, we're going to talk about that. Perfectionism, the challenge of it, and here's what I found. I don't know, I'm not speaking for you. This is just an idea. something that I've been self-aware of. The reason why I really want to be perfect is actually because of what someone said earlier. Let me just scroll up. Jose said judgment from others is probably the biggest reason why I avoid failure. Jose, thank you for sharing that truth. As a matter of fact, Jose, I'm glad you shared that truth because that's the reason why I want to be perfect. What you talking about, Gio? Why you want to be perfect and what that got to do with judgment? The reason I want to be perfect is so that you look stupid if you judge me for it, what I did. If I'm perfect and you judge me, you look bad. So I want to be perfect so that judgment is not something that I have to worry about, because in the person judging perfection, they're in the wrong. That's the only reason I want perfect. I know that perfect doesn't necessarily exist, but I want it so that I could avoid the judgment. And I got news for y'all. Even perfection gets judged. Even perfection, Jose wrote your word, right? Even perfection gets judged. We've seen it on social media. Y'all never seen a picture online and you see them and they're like, yo, man, dang. And that person probably they researched every single filter to make sure that no stretch marks was there, no blemishes, you don't see my pimples, you don't see none of that stuff. They went and made sure the picture was perfect. And you read the comments and somebody still got something to say. Oh, so you think you perfect? Oh, so now you think you're the definition of beauty? You're the definition of smart? You're the definition of rich? It doesn't matter. Someone's going to still say something. So here's the thing that I want you to do. My word for 2023 is to be perfectly imperfect. That's my word for 2023. I want to be perfectly imperfect. That's what I want. I don't care if you judge me. I don't care if y'all looking at me right now saying, Gio, come on now. You ain't get your light Caesar done. Where your haircut at, man? Your beard could be a little bit more trimmed. Yeah, I know I'm going to get judged for it. I know if I wanted to be perfect, I would have went to the barber this morning at 5:30 in the morning and paid $50 for a cut. Yes, I know. But then I also got to understand that there's something I need to do, and I need to feel comfortable. I need to feel satisfied with who I am, period. And let the judgment, knowing that they're going to come or not let that be the thing that's the driving force and the determining factor that decides for me what I will or will not do. I need you to be comfortable with you. I need you to let go of perfection and not let perfection be the thing that stops you from finishing something. Because one of my mentors would share with me that, Gio, done is the new perfect. Done is the new perfect. So this whole idea of, yo, I'm going to be perfect, here's the reality. Could you imagine if iPhone was still trying to go and if Apple was trying to create the perfect phone? We wouldn't have the phone we got right now. If Samsung was waiting for the perfect phone, we wouldn't have what we have right now. Matter of fact, iPhone releases the phone and then within a week or two tell you, here's all the bugs that are messed up in the phone and we just fixed it. Your phone company is telling you how we should be approaching. What you do the best that you can. And if there's something that you left short, you address it and you just fix it. You create updates. That's what iPhone does. Hey, we got another update, iOS update. Oh, Samsung, yo, we did this. Yo, you know what? You thought that camera was cool? The 13 megapixels? We got 50 megapixels right now. We improved. But how can they improve if they didn't do something in the first place? How can you progress if you didn't do something that warrants you having to progress? So this idea of perfect, where you're like, yo, man, you know what? I suck at math. That's cool, but you could be 65 in math today and 75 tomorrow. But you can't go and say, yo, you know what? I'm not going to try it all, man. You know, math is not my thing. Science is not my thing. College is not my thing. Applying for a job is not my thing. Like this avoiding of stuff is what's stopping us from living our best life. And so I want us to start to think of failure differently. Think of it differently. Let's change our mind of how we see it. Albert Einstein, one of the most genius. As a matter of fact, I used to say sometimes phone just takes an update back just to give it back the next year with more money. That does happen sometimes. I do feel like my AirPods right now They're trying to get me to go and buy new ones because it stopped working. But but his Einstein, Albert Einstein is known as one of the biggest geniuses, a very great thinker. A matter of fact, when someone is acting too smart, we sometimes say, yo, who do you think you are, Einstein or something? That's how smart this guy was, right? But this quote he says is, we can't solve our problems with the same thinking we use when we created them. This idea is that we must change the way we think if we're going to go and fix the problems that we had in the past. We can't keep thinking the same way and expecting different results. As a matter of fact, that's the definition of insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different to happen. Right? So that might be somebody, I don't know what that is for you. You might say, hey, I'm never going to study for a test. I'm just going to show up and take it. And then you fail the test. And then next time you go, man, I ain't never studying for a test. And you fail again. That same thought process is creating the same result. In order for the results to change, the way I think has to change as well. And so in order for us to have 2023 be the best year we've ever had to date, our thinking has to change. And I would argue one of the best places to change your thinking is how you view failure. How you view failure will change how you live in 2023. I don't want you to try to run a race with your hands tied behind your back and your leg tied to your hands. I want you to feel free. And in order for us to do that, we got to change the way we think. We got to change the way we think. We got to change the way we think. And failure no longer needs to be looked at as a foe, which is an enemy. Failure needs to be looked at as our friend. Imagine that for a second. Imagine if failure was your friend. Some of y'all are probably saying right now, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Failure is not going to be my friend. But I want your success to be your best friend. And if failure is not your friend, success will at best be an acquaintance. Y'all won't know it that way. Priscilla say, yay, selfies with failures. Priscilla's like this. Priscilla with her phone talking about, yo, look, failure, me and failure. But at the same time, I know that if you take that selfie with failure, there's going to be a selfie with a bigger success because you weren't afraid to be around failure. Because failure, although you may think it's a curse, has some amazing gifts for us if we don't avoid it. Jose said, I agree, it starts with the mind. Tiffany says, personally, I feel like that is scary. Taking the steps to not be afraid will be a super challenge. Tiffany, thank you for sharing that. Here's something I want to share. What I am asking every single person who's watching this right now or who's watching the replay, what I am asking you to do right now isn't easy. Hold on, let me say. What I am asking you to do right now isn't easy. We've been trained our whole lives to avoid failure. A matter of fact, when you went and did that test when you were younger and you got a bad grade, you were punished for it. We were punished for failure. Oh my gosh. If I came home with less than a 90, cancel Christmas, cancel your birthday, cancel playing video games on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Failure was such a villain that it's no wonder when we grow up and we get older that we are willing to do everything in our power to avoid it. We've never been trained to use failure as our friend. And that's the very reason why, out of all the things that I could talk about today, I said this is the topic that I want to talk about. Because if I can shift this years of learning to avoid and start leaning towards approach, then maybe whatever the version of an iPhone or Samsung Galaxy that is in your life, that you'll be able to do it. Steve Jobs wasn't afraid of trying to go and put 30,000 songs into a little device. He understood that had never been done before. but he wasn't afraid to at least go ahead and try to go and make it happen, and he was able to do so. The Wright brothers, who flew the first plane, even though no one had ever flown a plane before, they were afraid, they were scared, but they also understood that the super challenge also has a super opportunity on the other side of it. And so, Tiffany, I'm not saying to get rid of the scared feeling. I'm saying don't let it stop you. So if you need to still pack your fear in your bag, pack it, but still go forward. The title of this presentation is called Failing Forward. I'm not saying to avoid failure. I'm saying lean into it. I'm not saying don't be scared. I'm saying be scared and do it anyway, because I need you to be courageous. Courage is taking action even when fear is present. If fear was eliminated and you did whatever you had to do, that's not called courage. It's not even necessary. Courage is saying, yo, dang, this is going to be mad hard, but I'm going to do it though. I don't even know how long it's going to take or how I'm going to feel about it, but I'm going to do it though. I know that how I feel right now is not good enough for me. I want more, so I'm going to do it though. This idea, like Priscilla said, of being fearless, I just need you to have that mentality. Like Jose said earlier, it starts with mind. I just need you to be open, Tiffany. And Tiffany's not alone with what she said. Because what Tiffany said is the very reason why a lot of us never change. Because change is the ultimate challenge. Change is the ultimate challenge. You don't believe me? Look what the pandemic did to everybody. Rich and poor people was depressed because of the pandemic. Why? Because it forced us to have to change, and it didn't matter whether you lived in a mansion with 13 bathrooms or if you lived in a studio apartment, you still had to deal with it. So change is the ultimate challenge, but here's the thing. When you do it and it happens, it's also the most amazing experience you could ever have. And here's the thing. Once you experience the power of being able to control your thoughts, to approach the things you used to avoid, then now you become attracted to success. Success will come and say, yo, where Tiffany at? Because I know that no matter how hard it is, Tiffany gonna come with it. You know what? No matter how hard it is, Jose gonna come with it. No matter how hard it is, Leighton gonna come with it. Sabrina gonna come with it. Like, they're not gonna run away, they're gonna run towards. So I want us to understand that fear is a big bully. Fear is a big bully. It just makes a lot of noise in hopes that you never approach it. It makes mad noise, and it looks big, but the minute you come towards it, it's like, oh shucks, what you doing here? Why you getting closer? And we never get a chance to hear fear's fear because we never approach. We never hear fear go, oh snap, Tiffany coming towards me. Oh snap, Priscilla coming towards me. Oh snap, Jose coming towards me. We never get to hear fear's fear because we avoided it. And so from all the way back there, you can't hear fear say nothing. But when we approach it, oh my gosh, fear goes and starts to shrink. And then the shrinking only happens in the approach. So I want all of us to go and say, yo, Gia, oh snap. I want to go and approach it because, listen, I want you to understand that when we do that, we take the fear, take this thing away. How many of you are scared of bees? Put a 1 in the chat if you're scared of bees. Bzzz. Anyone scared of bees? You're like, yo, I'm not going to swing at it. I'm going to hope it don't see me. Some of y'all, when y'all see a bee, this is what y'all do. Y'all act like y'all are invisible. Y'all stand like this. I hope he don't see me. I hope she don't see me. Like you're like, I don't want, I hope, like that thing is buzzing around you and you're like, oh man, I should have never wore that perfume this morning. I should have never wore that cologne. We're like, I don't want to get stung. We say this about the bees, but here's the thing I want you to understand. And Aisha said, I got stung before. Listen, it's not a game. It's not a game when you get stung, right? But here's the thing I want you to understand. When we approach it, when you approach and you get closer to the thing, what you may realize is the bee was buzzing, but the stinger wasn't there. It doesn't have the stinger, so all it's doing is making noise. But sometimes what happens, and this is the power of fear, is the noise sometimes is loud enough to stop us from approaching. Sometimes the noise itself, it ain't even real. But the noise, what does noise look like? The judgment. What does noise look like? The negative comments in my Instagram posts. What does noise look like? My friends or family members saying who you think you are for trying to pursue that thing. Why are you trying to be better? Why you want to be better and leave us over here being normal? Why you want to be great? Why can't you just be good? That's noise. And when we approach our thing, we'll start to realize that that noise doesn't matter. That's a bee without a stinger. It can make all the buzz it wants, all the noise it wants, but it can't sting you. And that's what I want to build in every single one of us who's listening to this today. I want you to build that grit, that I could do this. And so we're gonna dive into the training. This was just me. I had to go and tell you my little State of the Union address on failure, because if you don't understand the opportunity in approaching it, you'll keep on avoiding it. So far, let me get an 8 in the chat if you're like, yo, this has been very helpful thus far. I just want to see, has Tiffany wrote 8,800? Okay, I see the 8s. Good. If y'all thought this was good, there's so much more that I got for you. So let's just jump right in, because I don't want to lose time, and I also want to hear from all of you as well at the end. So here we go. I want you to go and write all of these down. Failure, we're going to give it new definition. New definition about what failure is. Failure are feedbacks. Anybody can tell me what like when you see that, what does that say to you? I just want to see, like, what's your interpretation when I say failure are feedbacks? What does that mean? For some, like from the radio. Yeah, I know the radio does give you feedback. What do you think I'm trying to allude to when I say failure or feedback? There's something there buzzing, right? It's buzzing. But you know what's crazy though? You know what's interesting? Sorry, I apologize for saying crazy. What's interesting about the buzzing is that it tells me something happened. It's explaining to me that there's life here. When we think about failure, our feedbacks, we often think failure are just failures. But when I say it's feedback, is you ever wrote a paper and you just want to get a professor to give you feedback? Aisha said failure is another opportunity to get better. Rosini said the same things. It helps you improve. Yeah, now we get it. When you fail, you always have something to learn from that failure. Yes, Jose. Now, this is being recorded, but I'm gonna say it anyway. This is why I love talking to y'all, because y'all get it. Y'all get what I'm putting down. You picking it up. It is lessons in it. When I write a paper and I give it to my professor before it's due and say, can I get your feedback? What I'm doing is I'm increasing my odds of succeeding by getting the judgment up front in a way. The feedback up front. I'm getting that early. Yo, can you just check on this real quick? I really want to do really good on my paper. Do you mind just looking to just see if I'm on the right track? That's asking for feedback. Hey, I got a group of friends. You're all student leaders here. You're all in the same community. Yo, I'm thinking about a business idea. I just want to get a little feedback. Do you think this is something that you would be interested in? Feedback. What happens is we avoid judgment at all costs, but we don't realize by avoiding it, we don't get the other opportunity to do better because we don't have the information to do better. The feedback is information to do better. Here's proof. Thomas Edison. Anybody know what Thomas Edison was known for? Let me just see in the chat. Old guy, but he did something pretty cool. Anybody know what Thomas Edison is known for? Let me just see in the chat. My lip balm. My lip is dry. Let's see. Aisha said light bulb. Bingo. Aisha got it. Right? Aisha got it. Melanie got it too. Light bulb, right? Thomas Edison was known for the light bulb. Known for the light bulb. Known for the light bulb. Listen to the quote though. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work. People, he failed 10,000 times with the light bulb, and when you look him up, it doesn't say the world's greatest failure. It doesn't say the world's greatest failure. None of y'all said, oh, the guy who failed 10,000 times, that's who he is. No, y'all said light bulb. And here's the reason why I'm so excited, because when we keep on failing and get closer to the success, people will remember you more for your success than your failures. People will remember you more for your success than your failures. The only reason that we remember you for your failures is because you stopped and didn't keep on going. The only reason you're stuck on failure is because you didn't keep on moving from the failure. You didn't get the feedback and then try again. You did not try to improve. And so as a result of that, you didn't learn anything. You just stayed with the defeat. No, don't fail and then not get the lesson. That's the bare minimum you should do. As a matter of fact, you should seek failure so you can get the lesson, because there's some lessons that are never learned without it. Some things you just can't learn. There's a book called You Can't Learn How to Ride a Bike at a Seminar. You can't learn how to ride a bike at a seminar. I can't give you a book on how to ride a bike and you're gonna learn it. You gotta get on the bike. You gotta get on the bike to really know how to ride it. So if that's the case, we gotta get our hands dirty. We gotta get in the middle of the thing. And in doing it, you're gonna learn, oh man, I ain't gonna do that again. I'm not doing that again. That one hurt. Like when I rode a bike one time and I decided to pop a wheelie and go up a tree and think I was a BMX biker or whatever thing, and I was gonna flip it over and be like Tony Hawk or one of those people who do these tricks, like I'm in the X Games on ESPN. When I fell on the back of my head, I learned a valuable lesson. I failed though. I failed trying to do that trick, but I learned I ain't doing that again. like that will hurt too much. I'm not doing that trick again. I learned. I'm like, yo, you know what? I need to go and do a little bit more studying if I'm going to really do this. I need to go and get some more information. What was my technique like? Right? So I got more information from it. I got feedback. And I want us to start seeking that. So for all of you who got like, subjects that you're not really strong in, don't wait for the test to get feedback on if you're getting it right. Some of you, I know it because I've been you will never raise your hand in class and say you don't understand. Who's that? Let me see in the chat. Who are you? Who am I talking about that you will never raise your hand in class and say you don't understand what's going on? Who's that? I know I'm not the only one. Let me see. Who's the person? I'm never raising my hand. Never. I used to be that when I was fresh to America. Priscilla goes, Rosini said, I used to be like that too. Rosini, let me ask you a question. Those who say they used to be like this. Tiffany said, same, I used to. What changed for y'all? I want y'all to like, teach me. Let's teach each other. And you can unmute yourself if you want to talk too, because sometimes I love reading, but sometimes I like hearing voices too. So if you want to unmute yourself, so I can hear your beautiful voice. Let me just go ahead and say, what made you get over that? Because a lot of people deal with that problem.
Can I say mine?
Go ahead, Jose.
So last semester I used to be like that a lot. Like I would sit in the back of the room. I wouldn't say anything. If I needed help, I wouldn't say anything. But I found that what helped me was sitting and like once I registered for a class, I would automatically just force myself to sit in the front. And that kind of like motivated me to ask more questions. I'm still kind of hesitant every now and then, but that really helped me to ask like more questions and stuff.
Wow, look at that. Listen, and I want us to all understand that in asking questions amongst each other, we get the answers now. So now Jose's like, sit in the front, help me to like do it. Now here's the thing. Most of us, if we're honest, we would avoid sitting in the front. What I told us earlier, successful people approach the things that most people avoid. So in Jose going to say, I'm gonna sit in the front. Why? Because you can't hide. Why? They're like, you right in front of the professor. So you can't be on your cell phone right in front of the professor's face, right? Like it's a little bit extra. But that approaching versus avoiding helped. And now, yes, and again, it doesn't mean he's not perfect. He didn't say, hey, well, I'll stay raising my hand. No, he said, I still have some hesitancy to do so, but it's a lot better than what it was when I was in the back. Right? Who else? Let me see who else? Like, what was the thing that got you over the hump that said, you know what? I understand I feel some type of way, or people be feeling some type of way about the person who raises their hand, but I got over that. What's the thing that got you over it? Jose said, sitting in the front of the class. Let me hear another strategy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Priscilla, I can hear you.
For me, I used to be like that too, but I think the more I started doing it, like the first time I did it and I got like my answer, I kind of had a moment of like, oh my God, that wasn't like a big deal. So I got comfortable and I was just like, I was just so much fear for nothing. So I just got more comfortable and like pushing myself to do that. And I got better results because I was able to understand the thing I was struggling with.
Ooh, let's go. This yes. I'm mad hype. I'm mad hype. Like, this is good. Absolutely. Like Priscilla said it. And Tiffany, you're gonna go next. But Priscilla said it like I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I go to therapy. I need it because I need to get better, right? So I go to therapy.
Me too, hey.
You said what?
Oh, I said me too, hey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I go to therapy, and the thing that I learned in therapy is that often the thing that I'm afraid of is really a story that I made up. It ain't even true. I made up the story that said, you know what? I'm gonna ask the question. Everybody gonna make fun of me. They're gonna laugh at me. I'm gonna look stupid. Oh my gosh! And everybody gonna think, oh my gosh, you're the person that made the class longer. Oh my gosh! Right? So you go ahead, you start saying the story, and then the only way to avoid the story is to pop the bubble and go, yo, I'm gonna ask the question. Priscilla go ask the question. Yo, snap! Yo, that was actually helpful. Yo, you know what? Let me ask another question. And then all of a sudden, you got all this information, and you got clarity that now helps you to go and make better decisions. And now you get better results, and now you get more excited, and now the cycle repeats itself, but now it's a cycle that's continuing to elevate you to the next level versus that story of, you know what, ain't nobody gonna understand me. Everybody gonna make fun of me. And that story, that narrative, often not true, often a way to protect ourselves from shame, often an attempt to go and be perfect and not look like I got any blemishes. I don't want to be the one that asks a dumb question or whatever. That avoidance also avoids me from getting the answer I was looking for. I don't care if everybody thinks it's a bad question. I didn't understand it. It's my question. I ain't asking on behalf of the class. I'm asking on behalf of me. I don't get it. I asked the question. If you got a problem with that, it's your problem, not mine. Like, I got the test. When I take the test, they don't go and say, hey, that's y'all grade. That's my grade. So I need that A. So I'm gonna ask the question. Right? So that's important. Priscilla, thank you so much for sharing that. That's super gold. Gold. It got better when she kept on doing it. So everybody said that's progress. Tiffany, the floor is yours. Talk to me.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So you mentioned about there's always that one person in class that's asking a lot of questions, and some people might feel some way about them. I'm gonna be honest, I was definitely that shy girl in the back of the class, always thinking, oh my gosh, why is this person asking so many questions? It's so annoying. Or she always has something to say. But then I realized that was a person that was getting A's in the class. That was a person that was like really successful. And I was on my desk seeing like these 50% on my test, these 60%. So that really, the people that actually I was quote unquote annoyed by, I actually used them as fuel. And I started asking questions. I started being like those people. And I'm honestly really happy that I decided to do that.
Listen, people, y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear Tiffany talking. Come on now. Y'all ain't hear these wisdom bombs dropping. Come on now. Listen, this is the thing that when we start to go and say, yo, I'm okay with that. Like, and it's funny that Tiffany mentioned that, because there was definitely a girl in my philosophy class that asked mad questions, and I'm like, you just made the class 5 minutes longer because you asked your question, but she had a 97 in the class, and everybody else was failing. Like, she was the one person that passed the class naturally. The class did so bad, the teacher had to give us extra points just to make sure he didn't look bad. Okay,
Hi, I just logged in.
say that again, Susan. Susan.
No, I just logged in. I just wanted to say that me personally, I found taking night classes much easier because it was obviously less going on at the time of the time frame, and I feel like it also depends on the teacher you have. Some professors that I had still gave me like that high school vibe, like, listen, whether you come or not, I'm still getting paid, which is true, but at the same time, it was more like a non-connection, nonchalant. Others were great. I'm not trying to say everybody is the same. You know, I did have a few where they were like exchange numbers with your, person next to you, whoever you feel comfortable, just in case you miss a day. They'll give you their number or email, like, hey, reach out. So I feel like it does vary, but at the same time, it all depends on your approach and what do you feel like works for you. I personally realize that if a class is not for me, it's okay to drop it, but I can't put myself in a situation where I'm failing because at the end of the day, I'm the one who's trying to get my degree, and the person who's teaching me already has it. So that's what I wanted to say.
Got you. Now, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. And again, we can never control. Sometimes you can, right? You could just switch. You could go and look up ratemyprofessor.com, whatever, ask other students about professors and stuff of that nature. But I think I want us to understand this. I want us to get to a point where we are like bulletproof. And here's what I mean by bulletproof. I want us to get to the point where it doesn't matter who teaches me, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn either what to do or what not to do, but I'm going to learn something. So whether you have connection with me or not, you're going to teach me something. like I'm a student. I am going to learn something. If I'm going to be a professor one day, or I'm teaching somebody someday, and you don't have connection with that professor, or that professor doesn't care because they just got, hey, I'm tenured, I don't care. That has nothing to do with me. That teaches me, when I'm in a position to be a leader, I'm going to make connection my strength, because I could clearly see with this professor, that's a flaw. Right? And so, because what happens is the minute we let the others dictate us, then we become puppets. And I don't want to be a puppet. I don't want you to control me on that level. I want to have the ability to determine my level of success, and I'm not letting somebody else determine that for me. Now, again, there's sometimes circumstances happen, but I want you to be resilient in the fact that circumstances doesn't automatically mean I fail. Circumstances just mean it's just a little bit more challenging. It's just a little bit more challenging, but I'm still winning. I'm a winner. I don't lose. It may take me a little bit longer, but I'm not quitting and I do not lose. Okay, so like I want us to understand that, because sometimes what happens is we don't realize that not only do we want to be perfect, but sometimes we only wait for perfect conditions to act. And if we wait for perfect conditions, that means if it ain't 75 degrees and sunny outside without any humidity so that my curly hair don't get frizzy, I'm not going outside. And if that's what you're going to do, then there's a lot of opportunities out there that you're going to let somebody else who is less qualified get, because the conditions weren't perfect. I don't need perfect conditions. I make them perfect, because I'm going to keep working on it until I make the progress that I'm looking for. So I just wanted to share that, but thank you so much for everybody who's sharing. This was good. Tiffany says, yes, if I didn't have connection with the professor, I would ask a person next to me for help, which I used to hate doing as well, right? So sometimes it ain't the professor. Sometimes you're like, yo, you passing this class, what's good? Like, can we study? Like, can you help me out a little bit? Like, I want to do good. I don't care. Me and this professor are not going to be friends after this, but I need this grade so I could go and move on. so super important, but failure are feedbacks. I just wanted to go and say that. So now let's talk about what's the next thing that failure is. Let me just make sure I share my screen again. I'm going to make sure resume share. Let me get a, hold on. Let me get a 1 in the chat if you see the screen. Let me just make sure that I'm not moving forward until everybody sees it. See the screen, see the screen. Let me get a 1. 1, okay, cool, perfect. All right, so now let's go to the next thing. Failure are teachers. Now, y'all might say, okay, that's similar to feedback. Absolutely. It's absolutely close to feedback. This is not new information. They're just brother and sister, relatives. Failure are teachers. So if we look at it from that perspective and start to look at it and give it new, identify it from a new perspective, then all of a sudden, in pursuing it, I'm going to learn. I want us to all understand this. If you want to make sure that you never have to worry about stunting your growth, commit to being a lifelong learner. Commit to always being a student. I don't care if you're the CEO, if you're the boss lady, the boss man. I don't care if you own the company. I don't care if you got 500 people to report to. Never stop being the student. Never stop being the student. The minute you stop being the student, you now are going on the opposite end, and now your growth goes down. Always learn. Always learn. Your learning potential is tied to your earning potential. You want to earn more? Learn more. Learn, earn. They go together. Learn more, you have more capacity. Oh, snap, I know how to do this and that. Oh, the minute you can say you know how to do this and, put another zero at the end of your salary. Put a comma in there because you become more valuable. And let me tell you to understand, I want you to understand the value of failure and how powerful of a teacher it is specifically. Let me just let this person in, right? Look at this quote right here. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is known as one of the richest men in the world. In the world. He's always top five. Always top five. And I was listening to something one day. I was listening to ESPN radio, trying to listen to my sports while I'm driving. And Warren Buffett is on ESPN. And I'm like, why he on here? We talking about sports. Why this business guy on here? And I'm so grateful that he was on there because he dropped this nugget that I'm sharing with all of you. And I was like, yo, I'm about to fail. Like I said, yo, failure, my friend. Like I literally was like, yo, I'm about to fail like crazy. He said, when I pick companies to work with, when I think of things to invest in, he said, I won't partner with a business owner who hasn't failed at least 3 times. I said, what? I said, yo, you know what? He getting old. Like I'm like, he getting old. Like he didn't know what he just said. And he repeated himself. And he said, no. I want y'all to understand something. He said, I won't partner with anyone who hasn't failed at least 3 times because when that person failed 3 times, those 3 failures taught them what not to do. And that's actually more valuable sometimes than what to do. I said, what? I said, man, this felt like a class. I said, thank you, Warren. Like, I'm sitting here like, oh, snap. All this time, I'm like, yo, I got to hide my failures. He like, if you hid your failures from me, I would have never invested in you because I need to know you failed 3 times. Because failure is valuable to him. Because when you're going to invest millions of dollars, don't you want to invest in something that you feel is sound, that's good information, with someone who's wise, someone who's kind of got some experience? So he's like, I want experience, but here's the thing. He's one of the top 5 richest people in the world. He said, even the experience that didn't go the way you wanted is valuable. People, come on now. Come on now. He said, even the thing you didn't want to happen is valuable. I said, what? Life lessons, Priscilla says. Yeah, it helps you to get better. It helps you to make the next attempt better. I don't mind keep on trying if every time I try, it's going to be better than the last time. And he's saying, if you failed 3 times, you got a wealth of information of best things to avoid so that we can go and approach this with a higher rate of success. So for some of us who's like, yo, I hate failing, I want you to understand that everyone who's written a book about something that they're expert in has struggled at it at some point. The person who wrote the book on time management used to suck at time management. The person who's super successful is the person who used to be afraid of failure and now they're telling you about success. The person who's a math tutor is the person who once struggled with math at one point. Not all the time. Sometimes they're really good at math and that's why they help. But oftentimes it's the struggle that helps people to connect with the people so that you can go and open up your eyes to the potential of the success. So all of you who have failed at something, who thinks that has disqualified you, I want to tell you, stop hiding it. Stop hiding it, because that thing could be the very thing that promotes you to the next level. For some of you, that failure is something you never will mention. So when they say, hey, when you go on a job interview and they're like, hey, what's an area of improvement that you could have? And you're like, nothing. I'm perfect. Nothing. I have no, what's your weaknesses? I ain't got none. I ain't got no weaknesses. I got just strengths over here. That person is like, okay, we can't work with this person. They're not teachable. But the person who says, hey, one of my weaknesses was showing up on time. However, I then started to look at my lateness from a different perspective, and I realized that by being on time, I'm being respectful to the company and myself, and that's how I would want to be treated. Now that person goes and says, all right, that was a weakness, but you learned from your weakness. Now it becomes a strength. But what happens is we like, yo, I gotta be perfect. I ain't telling you all them joints. I'm not telling you that I'm a perfectionist. But then you want to teach, say, what did you learn? Failure is our friend, people. Failure is the thing that's gonna promote us to the next level when we don't hide it, when we don't avoid it, when we don't act like we ain't got nothing, we all that in a bag of chips. Like, nah, I want you to understand, listen, people, failure is our friend. It's a teacher. I'm just going to class. Life is always teaching us something. The problem is we forget that we should be learning while we live. We forget, yo, I'm a student. Oh, snap. Like, you should be waking up in the morning and say, yo, life, what are we talking about today? What lesson you gonna teach me today? Open up your journal and write it down. Priscilla said I needed this message so much right now. Like I need you to understand this. Like, I'm so serious when I say what I'm saying in this presentation, because I know that when Priscilla gets to the next level, when Suzanne gets to the next level, when Jose gets to the next level, when Leighton gets to the next level, when Sabrina gets to the next level, when Tiffany gets to the next level, and I hang around those people, it makes me say, what's my next level? Because what happens is when everybody starts to elevate, you're like, yo, what about me? But when everybody stays on the same level or go down, I just think that it's okay to stay the same. Well, I gotta go and try to grow if everybody else ain't growing. I just stay here, I get comfortable, I chill, I'm relaxed. But I know that, and this is a part of it, is a little selfish on my part. I know that if Tiffany and Priscilla get to the next level, Suzanne gets to the next level, Sabrina, Leighton, Jose gets to the next level, I can't stay the same. And I know that the ultimate challenge is change, but I also know the most ultimate reward is change. Like, listen, I know sometimes we be nice and we like, yo, keep the change. But sometimes, yo, get your change. Get your change. Get your change. Like, people, like, I want you to get your change. Like, we need each other to get to the next level. We need each other to rise the tide, because they said the tides, when the tide rises, all the ships on the water go up. Not some of them. So we just got to elevate that. Stop making normal. Greatness is our new normal. And every single one of you have the potential of it if you approach the very things that most people avoid. If we go west when everybody going east, we're going to get things that they're never going to have. R.L. Moody, who y'all may have heard of before in the past, used to say this all the time. In order for me to get what few people have, I got to do what few are willing to do. And so most people, very few, are willing to approach failure. Thank you, Delroy. I appreciate it. Right? You got to move forward. Please go towards it. Don't keep running from it. Don't keep running from it. All right? So straight, go towards it. Go approach that bully. Rosine said yes, and you start meeting new people who are all about change and growing, people that also help motivate you. Absolutely. You can't help it. You can't help it. I can't go to a kitchen where they cooking fried chicken and walk out of there not smelling like fried chicken. It just comes on you. It just comes on you. So if I'm in a room with success and they say you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most, and I'm hanging around people that's growing, and I'm the 5th person, and all 4 of them are growing, I'm next. If I'm the sum of the 5 and all 4 of them growing, I'm next. I don't even gotta hate on you. I just gotta wait my turn. Yo, I'm next. Woo! Yo, and now all of a sudden, we don't have to hate other people's success. We just gotta get near it. We just gotta be around it. Don't hate people's success, because that's avoiding them. That's pushing success away from you. I ain't hating on you, Rosini. No, you got that A. I'm so happy for you. How you did it. Because I want to be next. Right? Like, this is the thing. Like, I want us to start to think about it. Haters don't realize by hating, they pushing away the very thing that they want. Like, think about it. Yo, I hate the fact that you got that boyfriend. Don't you want a boyfriend? Like, don't you want to be in a relationship that's successful? Why you ain't on mine? Yo, man, I hate the fact that you got that job. Don't you want a job? Like, why are you hating on me? Why don't you just ask me how I got it? Like, it's weird, but like a lot of us do that and don't realize it. And I'm like, yo, let's just stop that. Like, I don't need to hate on you. I don't need to avoid that. No, I'm gonna celebrate you. Celebrate, amplify, because I'm next. I'm celebrating you because you're gonna celebrate me next. Because I'm next. I my turn. My turn. I got it. And so we want to make sure we celebrate that. Okay. So again, don't hide your failures. Please, the next job interview you go on, do not go and say you don't have no weaknesses. Okay? Say you have a weakness, but then don't end the weakness with a period. Tell them a story of why it used to be a weakness. Tell them what lesson you learned from that weakness. So that now they can go and say, you know what? This person is teachable. This person learns. So even though you're not perfect, I'd rather someone I can teach than a perfect rock. I want someone who's clay. I want something that we can adjust and change and make things better. But if you're a rock, I can't do nothing with you. What am I gonna do with that? A rock? No. I need you to be a sponge. Soak it all in. Soak it all in. And we're gonna go to the next level. So let's go to the last thing, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions. Failure are just an easy, simple way to look at it are attempts. It's just another try. It's a try. It's an attempt. That's all it is. Don't call it good, bad, or nothing. It's just an attempt. If you try, you're going to get closer to the thing that you're looking for. If you don't try, you forfeit what you're looking for. And you tell somebody else to go get it. Kobe wrote 100%. Some of us, I don't know. I know we grew up in a different time. I grew up in the 80s. So the greatest basketball player of all time, I'm not having this argument with any of y'all, is Michael Jordan. Y'all want to tell me LeBron James or Steph Curry or whatever? Everybody got their opinion. But for me, it is the GOAT, Michael Jordan. But here's the thing. No matter what your argument is, Priscilla said Jordan always. Thank you, Priscilla. You know the vibes. Right? Like, Michael Jordan is the biggest thing. But here's the thing I want you to understand about Michael Jordan. Listen to this quote. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. So that's called 9,000 failures. I've lost almost 300 games. 9,300 failures. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and I missed. 9,326 failures. He said, I failed over and over and over again in my life. That is why I succeed. Do you understand that? Think about the person who's like, I ain't taking that shot. I'm not going to shoot because there's a 50-50 chance that I might make it or miss. So I won't shoot. Y'all, many of y'all, you ever heard when y'all giving your girlfriend or your homeboy an advice? Yo, shoot your shot. You never know. Shoot your shot. Yo, that girl's out of my league. That guy's out of my league. That person's out of my league. Shoot your shot. How do you know? How do you know if you don't shoot? Here's the thing. When you don't shoot your shot, you 100% don't make it. Listen to me. We went from 50-50 chance to you not shooting, 100% chance you ain't gonna make it. Think about how you just doubled your rate of failure for real, by not shooting. Jose said, story of my life. Jose, we're about to change the story. We're gonna take a U-turn. The story of the life I had not the story that I'm about to have now, right? Like, this is the thing. We got to make sure, like, when we say Michael Jordan is one of the greatest, a matter of fact, Kobe Bryant, another great, Kobe Bryant has the record for the most missed shots in NBA history, I believe. And we still talking about how great he is. Yo, Kobe, one of the greatest scorers ever. But he missed the most shots. In order for him to be one of the greatest scorers, one of the greatest scorers, Kobe had to keep on shooting. I look at my wife now, and some people would say she is out of your league. And I would say, y'all all right. But I shot my shot, though. Even when we was in the friend zone, I was like, yo, man, you know what? Shucks. If I shoot my shot and we friends now, and I miss, we may not be friends no more. So I might lose it all. But the opportunity to get something better, I said, I can't pass that up. That's too expensive. So I took my shot. And I'll be honest with y'all. In the beginning, she said, why did you shoot the shot? like she came in, don't laugh at me. She came at me and she said, oh my gosh, why did you do that? Why couldn't we just be friends? But you fast forward 11 years later, 8 years of marriage later, and now we're like, yo, she glad I shot my shot. And I'm glad that the shot went in. Right? Like, you look at this opportunity and I start to think of, this is probably the best shot I ever took in my life. And my life has forever been changed for the positive. But I think about the failure I had before that. The 6-year relationship that I had before that didn't work. That after that relationship, the pain was so deep that I said, I ain't never going to date again. I don't know about what y'all believe in. I was like, yo, you know what? Jesus ain't had no girlfriend. I ain't having no girlfriend either, man. You know what? I'm just going to stay single for the rest of my life. I ain't even going to try no more. But in doing that, had I done that, I'd have missed out on the best blessing I've ever had in my life. She ain't perfect, neither am I. But she the best thing that ever happened to me, though. Right? Like, she's the best thing. And out of that best thing, other best things happen, and I'll share with that a little bit later. But, like, I want y'all to understand, y'all got to shoot your shot. You got to take the attempt. You got to try. You got to try. Yo, I tried 20 times for that application. It didn't work. I tried 10 times for that application. It didn't work. How many of y'all about put a 3 in the chat if y'all watch Harry Potter, read Harry Potter, like Harry Potter, anything Harry Potter? Okay, Kobe said 3. Aisha said 3. Harry Potter, trade cards, all that. Priscilla 3. Now, here's the interesting thing. J.K. Rowling, who created Harry Potter, was rejected 12 times. This is according to her. Was rejected 12 times before one person said, yo, we'll publish that book. No, Priscilla, I'm dead serious. Now, here's the thing. We look at Harry Potter and you're like, yo, this joint is next level. This was like on site. Somebody should have approved this because this was good. Priscilla, she was rejected 12 times. She had to ask people, yo, can I publish this book? Not good enough. Can I publish this book? Not good enough. 12 no's before she got the yes. And now she's given away, I think like she's one of the first, if not the first billionaire author. The only reason she's not the first billionaire author is because she donates so much money, she goes out of the billionaire status. That's how successful she is. She is so successful because she donates. She's supposed to be a billionaire. She'll go $1 billion, then she'll donate millions of dollars, and now she gets out of it. But I think about the fact of what if she stopped at the 5th attempt, the 6th attempt, the 7th attempt, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th. Like, what if she stopped? Now, here's the thing. She created Harry Potter. The people who helped publish her book made money. The people who acted in the movie made money. The people who helped produce it made money. The amount of lives that have changed because she didn't stop trying is insurmountable. So I ask you this. Whose life is going to be better because you decided not to stop trying? Whose life is going to be different and better because you've decided to not stop trying? For some of you, Hostos may not be your first school. Some people, you've been to many different schools before. But I want to just give you a round of applause right now because you still here. You didn't stop trying. Yo, you know what? I went to a 4-year college. It didn't work out for me. I decided to come back home. I'm going to Hostos. I'm going to go and get my foundation here, and then I'll go and try again with a 4-year college. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is that you quit. What's wrong is you didn't allow the failure to keep on teaching you something until you got it right. Right? Aisha said, I'm so glad she went on and didn't stop to limitations. Yeah. And sometimes when the people don't get it, Rosini said, myself, my family, kids' lives will be better. I used to be the person that said college is not for me. Right? Like we have these things that we have these stories. Yo, this ain't for me. I ain't about that. But I'm like, yo, I want us to open our eyes to the opportunities that are out there. I want us to start doing things a little bit differently. So here's a portion where I want to start to help us to identify what areas can we start to take chances, take risk, and increase our level of failure, because we know once I get that, just like who was it? I forget if it was Tiffany or Priscilla, but one of y'all said, like, you know, when you ask, I think it was Priscilla who said, when she asked the questions, she realized, was it you, Priscilla, who said that? Like when you was asking the questions, you were like, oh, I got the answer. Or was it Tiffany? I'm drawing a blank. But Priscilla said it, right? Here's the thing. I want us to increase our rate of failure because it's gonna shave off the sting of that bee every time we do it. So that it's gonna hurt a little less every time we do it, to the point where we don't even realize it. And like, yo, that's just noise, I'm ignoring it. So I want us to go and work on that. But here's the thing, the framework I want you to think about failure from. Every time you do something, I want you to start to think about it from an experiment perspective. How many of y'all like science? Let me get a 7 in the chat if you like science. If you don't like science, don't say you don't like it. Just in case. But I just want to see who likes science though. Like some of y'all like, yo man, science and we that's my ex. We don't go together. So right, 7s. Okay, I see a couple of 7s. I was good in science, but it wasn't the greatest. But one of the things that I loved about science, and remember, tell me if you remember this when you were younger. What I loved about science was when we got to do experiments. I was cool with reading the book and understanding what a Mediterranean, this kind of rock is, and that kind of rock. But it was different when we started to like when science became real. When science became real was when the experiment came. When there was to sort of say, yo, this is acidic, and I was to go and check the pH level and see acidic versus base. I'm like, oh, next level. When I took milk and I said, oh, this is not acidic. Oh, that is. Oh, this is neutral. When I started to see it, that's when the learning became real to me. And so one of the things that I loved about science was whenever we started this experiment, in the beginning of the experiment, right? Priscilla said cause and effect. Yeah, that one too, right? Aisha said, when I actually started experimenting, getting hands-on is when I loved it. Exactly. Like there's just something different when you get to go and like get out the book and just touch it, like really experience it for real, for real. So one of the things I love with experimenting is in the beginning, they would ask us to make an educated guess, AKA a hypothesis. They'll say, yo, guess what's gonna happen. Guess what's gonna happen. And one of the things that I loved about it was the guessing is just a try. That's an attempt. That's an attempt at me trying to figure out what's happening, what's gonna happen. An attempt. But here's what happened. As I did the experiment, 2 things would happen. Either my attempt would be proven to be true, or my attempt would prove that it's not true. But here's the cool thing about it. I never did an experiment when my hypothesis was wrong and felt tight about it. I wasn't upset. I was like, oh, I learned something. Oh, I didn't know that before. Oh, wow. Yo, and now it created a level of excitement. But it's because it was within the context of experimenting. It was within that context. And so for all of us, that's what I want all of us to do. I want us to start experimenting and looking at all of our attempts through the lens of an experiment. Look at it from the lens of experimenting. Yo, oh snap, I learned something. Oh wow, here's a guess. Here's what I think gonna happen. But let me go and get a hands-on experience so that I could know what happens. I don't want to go and keep predicting. I want to know. So I'm gonna predict, then I'm gonna do, and then when I do, I'm gonna know. And when I know better, I can what? Finish the sentence. If I know better, I can. Let me see what it is. Finish the sentence. I could do better. Delroy got it. Yeah, there you go. You got it, right? I can make progress. I could go and elevate. Priscilla's like, oops. No, it's all good. Right? Like you could get to the next level. I could do better when I know better. But how do I know better if I don't do? It's almost like it go hand in hand. You do, you learn, you do better. And you repeat. And you repeat and you repeat until you get to the next level. This is how we get to the best version of ourselves. It's by experimenting. So here's what I want us to do. We got 21 more days. It's actually 22 more days, right? I know that January got 31 days. So what I want us to do is I want us to pick three experiment areas that we want to mess around with for the next 21 days. I say 21 because I want you to take some time to think about which area you want to work on. And then when you're offline, when you're done with this training, I want you to go and pick one of the three. I strongly encourage you to not do too many experiments at the same time because you will get distracted and won't get the lesson. You won't get the lesson. So you're going to pick three, and then you're going to drill it down to one. 3 areas for the next 21 days. You might say, Gio, why you don't say the rest of the year? Because I know that if you have the rest of the year to do this, you will take the rest of the year to do this. And yeah, I want to proof that this happens is the reality is when your professor told you had a paper due at the end of this semester, and here's what it's going to be about. When did you start the paper? Right before it was due. Like most of us do that. You're like, I had 3 months, and then what happens? You beat yourself up because then you like cramming, and you're like, I had the whole semester to do this. Why did I take so long? Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I got bags under my eyes. Oh my, like. Now I gotta go and use Olay and stuff to go and try to go do whatever to take these bags under my eyes out, right? Like I say 21 days because it's short enough for us to go and do it, learn the lesson, so we could do another 21 days. So we could do another 21, another 21, another 21. But what happens when we experiment for just once a year and we're like, I'm gonna just take the whole year, then you gotta wait another year to go and do another one. I don't want you to wait that long. We got too much learning to do, too much growing to get for us to go and take that long. So I want us to be 21 days. 21 days, we're gonna try something. So here's some of the areas of focus that you could choose. There's 3, these are like 6, Tony Robbins talks about the 6 human needs: certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, growth, and contribution. Certainty just speaks to the fact that we all need to be sure of something. Whatever that thing is, we need to be sure of something. And the way to get sure of something is repetition. They say repetition is the mother of all learning. So the more you do it, the same way Priscilla, the more she asked the question, she realized, I got this. I figured this out. Oh, snap. Okay. Right? The more that Jose, I believe, who said it, I sat in front of the class. It felt a little bit more comfortable. Right? So the more repetitions we get, the more certainty we'll have. So if you're thinking about what is an area that you can go and start to practice in so that you can go and get the progress in it so that you can have the certainty that you're going to do well in it? That could be a math, that could be a subject that you struggle with. That could be a skill that you want to master, whether it's like, hey, I play the drums, I play the guitar, I sing, I cook, I do hair, I do nails, I'm a personal trainer, whatever it is. What's something that you can go and decide now that I'm going to put practice behind to go and do something? Here's what variety is. Variety is I like things to be different every now and then. I don't like to live my life in a rerun. Variety says this. Aisha said, I want to learn by myself through books like Elon Musk. Aisha, that's dope. That's another great goal. I want to go and learn through increasing my level of books. I want to read books. I want to educate myself on other people's stories and see what I can glean from them so I can go and get better myself. Aisha, that's dope. An amazing goal. Good stuff. That could be a book. Yo, I want to be certain that I know more. How could you do that? By reading more. Readers are leaders, they say, right? So read, increase your reading, you'll know more, and then you could apply more because you know more. Variety says this: you don't want reruns, though. Here's what variety is. Variety is like, yo, you know what? I like this movie, but then I'm gonna go and change it up. I like horror movies, but I also like action. Some people, they don't, variety is the spice of life. You want to just experience different things because the more you experience, the more well-rounded you are. So variety might be something like, yo, when's the last time I did something for the first time? When was that? What is something, an area that I'm not familiar with, but I would like to be? I'm just curious. Variety. Significance, just talking about something you want to feel like, I want to be important. How do you become important? Simple. By providing value to others. As leaders, the greatest leader creates value for those who follow them. So the students that you represent, as the student ambassadors, you advocate for them, you advocate for events, you advocate for workshops, you advocate for what they would like to have. The more value you bring in their life, the more significant you will be. So the question you might ask yourself is, what experiment can I do to become more valuable? That's simple. You just got to ask the question, who can I help? Who can I help? Who can I help? And that will increase your level of significance. And the more you do it, the more you'll start to feel good about it too. You'll learn how to help people better by helping people. Love and connection, self-explanatory, but that's just relationships. For some of us, we're scared to get into a relationship because of the last relationship we had. It was failure. But the question I would ask you is, what did you learn from that relationship that you can stop doing or start doing in the new one? What can you learn? And the relationship doesn't have to only be romantic. It could be also family. Some of you have not spoken to a relative in a very long time because something went wrong. Some of you, family reunions was canceled because there was some type of beef or some kind of failure in your relationship with that family member. And now all of a sudden the family is divided. We got to get back to connecting again. We got to be one. We got to go and cause that connection again. So what is that thing you want to experiment with? Growth is, what are you going to try again? The more opportunities, the more I learn, the more I'm going to grow. And contribution is like the significance part, but at a higher level. That's like the part where J.K. Rowling donating. When we say contribution, when Jason says, hey, we're going to go around the community and we're going to clean it up. We're going to get all the leaves. We're going to donate some coats. We're going to go, like when he's doing all that activities, that community service element, that's contribution. And for those who've already done it, y'all know what that feels like when you give somebody something like genuinely, I gave you this coat, like that genuine feel of them like saying, wow, you gave me this and I didn't even give you anything. That feeling is amazing. That feeling is absolutely amazing. So these are the areas that I want you to focus on. And I'm going to ask you, and this is the last 30 minutes is dedicated to all of you thinking about your experiment, but also I want you to share what that is so that we could all support each other. I want us to normalize this idea, normalize seeking failure so that you can go ahead and elevate yourself to get more opportunities to grow. Approach failure like the successful people do instead of avoiding it like those who are not. So we're going to tap into that. But here's some questions I want you to think about before we go and think about this. Again, certainty, variety, significance, love, connection, growth, contribution. Think about what is something that I'm going to experiment with that normally I would avoid because I'm afraid of it, because it's an unknown, because of the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown. Even sometimes some of you have the fear of success. If I accomplish this, if I get my college degree, people are going to think I'm brand new and they're going to think that I think more highly of myself than them. So because of that, I have that fear of success. I'll just play it small so that they don't feel small. And the reality is that if you don't get big, they will stay small. So you got to get big. I need y'all to grow, right? So think about those areas specifically. Oh yes, I have the fear of success. Tiffany, I get it. We all think that. Yo, I'm gonna make money. And then people are gonna say, I'm full of myself, or who you think you are. Then it becomes the narrative. And I've had fear of success too. I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna make a bunch of money and then I'm gonna start bossing people around. I'm gonna make a bunch of money and then I'm gonna say, yo, this is what you're gonna do, and I'm not gonna be a people person anymore. And I had that fear, but here's the thing I realized. That's noise. I don't know. I'd rather you go and get the success and find out you're gonna be a jerk than for you to assume you're gonna be a jerk before you got it. Like, go get it and find out versus assume. Go do the experiment. Your hypothesis, I'm gonna get money and I'm gonna become a jerk. That's your hypothesis. Experiment with it and let's find out if that's really what you discovered. I want you to know. I don't want you to do. Here's what it is, Tiffany and everybody else. I'm tired of all of us window shopping with life. I'm gonna say that again. I'm tired of us window shopping with life. We go by, we see all the nice things, and we never go inside to buy anything, even though you got it. You scared, yo, this is my last dollar. If I spend it, I don't know if I'm gonna get another one. Yes, you can. Come on now. You could create it. You fearless. You're unstoppable. You have the ability. Don't let fear stop you, though. I used to say I want to experiment with archaeology on the field at least once in life. It is something opposite than my college major, but I want to try it. Aisha, that's what I'm talking about. Let's do it. Why not? Why not? Now, here's the thing. I want you to think about, these are some questions I want you to think about as you think about your experiment. If failure wasn't possible, what would you try? These are some things I want you to think about as you think about what are the three things you want to think of experimenting with. If failure wasn't possible, what would you try? Who would you ask to talk to? Who would you ask to meet? If failure wasn't an option, what would you try? Perfect example of this would be this. I'm a big comedian, a big fan of comedy. One of my favorite comedians, I want to say one of my favorites. My favorite comedian, let me just come out boldly, is Kevin Hart. He's my biggest comedian. I got all the books. I listen to all the interviews, all of that stuff, right? I do that, all that stuff. One day I said to myself, yo, I want to talk to his mentor to find out what was it like before he became a star. See, I want to go and ask him some questions. Now, somebody might say to me, Gio, this is the noise. Somebody gonna say to me, Gio, his mentor ain't gonna talk to you. Who the heck are you? Why would he talk to you? And so that noise would have made me not try. But I said, yo, what do I have to lose in trying? Except the opportunity to hear 50% chance, yes. So I went, sent him an email. At 12:14 in the morning, I got an answer, and the gentleman said, sure, we can talk. I said, what? I said, are you serious? You know, I went ahead, took my glasses off, rubbed my eye, make sure I'm looking correctly. I said, yeah, hold on. Let me see if this person ain't playing with me. He said, give me your number, I'll give you a call. One day, later that week, I got a call, spoke to him for an hour and a half. He told me, save my number. Anytime you got any questions, let me know. He taught me how to become a speaker and how to become better at a speaker. Because he was like, I was like, yo, how do you tell jokes for 60 minutes? He gave me a nugget. He said, Gio, all you got to do is think of it as an album. Think of it like an album with 16 tracks. You just got to figure out what's your tracks. I said, what? I said, game changer. I was like, oh, snap. But that wisdom that he gave me, that ultimately I use every time I speak from now on, I would have never got if I just stopped at the fact that the noise said, that's not possible. It's not possible. They ain't gonna talk to you. I tried and I got the information. So if failure was impossible, what would you try? Here's another question I want you to think about. When was the last time you did something for the first time? So Aisha said, yeah, I really want to try it. I never did archaeology before. So that would be her first time with it. But that experimentation might open you up to an opportunity or a career you may not know. What if archaeology comes out and they're like, hey, we have an initiative where we need to have diversity in archaeology because everybody looks the same. And what if Aisha now represents the diversity and now they say, hey, we're paying for people's school to go and learn archaeology. Well, now because you experimented with something new, you now are open to what opportunities are connected to that new thing. But when you don't expose yourself to something new, then all you get is old stuff. I don't want y'all to get old stuff. I want y'all to get new stuff where y'all rip off the plastic and everything. I don't want you to go and get leftovers and crumbs and try to turn them into meals. No, I want y'all to get the food hot. And so I want you to go and think of those opportunities. Last question I want you to think about, or two more. What are some I don't knows that you can explore? What I mean by I don't knows, I don't know about that. I don't know about this. What is an I don't know that you could explore so that you could eliminate the doubt from it and just say, yo, I know that. I know I don't like science because I tried it. I know I don't like math because I tried it. I know I don't like avocados. Don't judge me. I don't like it. I don't like avocados. But I tried it though. Right? I tried it. So I know now. What is the I don't knows that we can go and say, eliminate the don't part and be like, I know for sure. And lastly, what is something you started doing, but then you stopped when it didn't work? Remember J.K. Rowling's example. 12 rejections, she didn't stop. And Thomas Edison, who created the light bulb, said this: many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Y'all ever seen that meme on social media where they show the person digging through the rock and then they see diamonds, but that person walked away right next to the part where they were right near the diamonds? Y'all ever seen that meme on social media before? Let me see in the chat if y'all ever seen it. Priscilla said yes. That person's digging and they did the whole work. And then they're like, man, ain't nothing there. And right on the other side, like literally, like right there. And you're like, oh, snap. There, nothing. Here, something, right? What would that be? All right. So I want y'all to take some time, a few minutes, just to think what that is. And then when you are ready to share, just raise your hand and I will call on you. Aisha said pottery, making dumplings filled with soup from scratch. I want to write a fantasy book, probably. Aisha, oh my God, yes. I'm liking this list. What's the list? If y'all don't want to say it publicly or you don't want to talk, you could go and put it in the chat. But I'd love at this point to hear from you. So if you can raise your hand, we'll call on you. What are some things that you're looking to experiment with? What are some things that you're willing to go and attempt, even if failure is part of the equation, because you want to not forfeit the ability of success? Tiffany said, I really want to start selling earrings on Etsy. Oh, mogul, business owner. Like, okay, Tiff. Okay, I see you. I see you, earrings. Priscilla, you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
For something that if there was like no failure, I would like to learn how to program. Like I want to learn how to program with computers. So, just for like, that's like a career choice that I want. So if I knew I couldn't fail in that, that would be the first thing.
Listen, and that's good. That's good.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you for that. And look up. There's a thing called Apps Without Code. There's a lady by the name of Tara Reid, I believe. She created a company that was helping women with coding because she noticed that the industry was so inundated with just men. And so she's created this company. It's been doing super successful. Super successful. It's Apps Without Code. Sorry, I was going to try to type it in the chat. Apps Without Code. I think her name is Tara Reid, but you can look that up, Priscilla. But definitely, like, look into that. And even Priscilla, even if you're like, okay, I don't do the program or whatever, I want you to just watch the interviews. Just hear her talk about coding and talk about the potential and all that stuff and the many people she's helped with that. But that would be key. And I love the fact that you want to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out. It's really good.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bert says, if I couldn't fail, I would direct a short film. Wow.
What's up,
that's
Gio?
dope. What's good, my guy?
Good, man. I just landed, man. I just landed, but I hopped on. I've been on for the last couple of minutes. Great content, man. I remember you talking about your journey last time we connected at that barbershop, how you had that blog series and how some
Yeah.
island booked you to go speak because you didn't even know if that anyone would watch that video blog series. And
Yeah.
you stopped questioning yourself and you put it out there and it led to somebody taking you to another country to speak about your passion, man. So I just wanted to kind of be there. You know, I'm someone who knows Gio personally and knows that you're the real deal. So I just wanted to come and show you some shine and some love. And the content is great. I'm taking notes here. I'm at the airport at LaGuardia. So appreciate you, man. Shout out to Jason for organizing this.
Sure. For sure. No, I appreciate that, Bert. And this is when I said earlier to all of us, we want to be around people who's doing the same type of things. Bert is always elevating himself. And sometimes here's the value of being around people who are successful and think in the same manner. Sometimes we forget the attempts that we've made. Like when Bert just said what he said, I'm like, oh snap, that did happen. Like sometimes I need to be reminded of the attempts that I did in the past that actually work. Because sometimes what happens with success is that as you create more of them, sometimes you create distance from the ones that you had that kind of like birth that mentality. And so what he said about like something where I'm like, yeah, I was getting like 10 views on those blog series. 10 views. I'm like I was trying to figure out how to go on YouTube and make the views not visible. That's how bad the views were. But somebody who was like, I need to see what you're talking about, saw the video, and that one view turned into $8,000 and me having a trip in Bermuda at the same time. From a video series that 10 people watch, and maybe 3 of them was me watching the video twice, and then my wife watching it just to say, hey babe, I saw it. Like, this is the stuff that I'm saying, that don't let the small beginnings, don't let the person not giving you all the praise, the clouts and all that stuff stop you from getting the attempt. Like, I want y'all to try. I don't care if nobody looks like you is doing it yet. All we need is one person to do it, and then you're like, yo, there goes it. There go that person. Everybody from before the days, back in the days, was like, yo, a black person could never be a president. Barack Obama became president. That story's gone. Bubble popped. Yo, J.K. Rowling, no woman could be a billionaire author. J.K. Rowling popped the bubble, right? Like, I want you to understand that. Like this, like you can pop the bubble for someone else who thought it can't be done. That's the opportunity that we have. Someone in your neighborhood right now thinks college is BS. Waste of time. Just gonna stay on the block, do what I do. But you go to college, you make it a success, and you go and do all this stuff. Look at all these opportunities that I was able to create in college. The groups, the people that I met. Now all of a sudden that person goes and says, damn, college ain't so bad anymore. Look what Priscilla did. Look what Tiffany did. Look what Jose did. Look what Leighton did. Oh, snap. Look what Sabrina did. Oh, no. Oh, look what's going on here. And so I want you to think about that and don't diminish those opportunities. Tiffany says, although I want to get a congressional intern in the fall, I really want to get back into my creativity. I want to do both. Tiffany, why not do both? Why not do both? A matter of fact, sometimes we think that congressional internship and creativity are going in the opposite direction, when maybe what is needed is for some creativity at the congressional level. Like, think about that. We always think, yo, man, creativity over here, work over here. But the people who've been able to change the world made those two things together like this. And maybe that's what we need. Maybe Congress, to be honest, Tiffany, to me sounds boring. To me. But if someone starts to do some creative things, maybe now all of a sudden, instead of it being some chicken with no seasoning, you could go and bring some flavor to that. Tiffany could go and make congressional stuff relevant, you know? So important. Tiffany designing the next posters, right? Like, I want to see some new stuff, spice it up. Let me get a documentary or something. Like, let me see something. Like, let that creativity come out, but never think that those two worlds that you want to live in can't coexist. A matter of fact, I would argue that when you bring the worlds together, that's when things change. It's not the separation. It's the collaboration of the two that changes our lives. So argue with that. Like, even when you have the 3 experiments, how do those, Tiffany, like, stay tuned. Y'all about to see this work. Like, flyers about to be on fleek. Like, do y'all say that still? Fleek? So, right, like it's gonna go to another level. So don't think your best self is invited to every room that you're gonna be in. Don't leave that creative part at home. Don't leave that hunger at home. Don't leave that politically correct. No, I want you to go and make some good trouble, as John Lewis would say. Go out there, experiment, make discoveries, and show the world a new world. Like my favorite song in Aladdin, A Whole New World. Show the world a new world because you were willing to be courageous enough to go and make the attempt, even though failure was 50% possible. You were like, but I'm going for that 50% of success because I know that if I don't attempt it, 100% failure, 100% missing. I don't want that for y'all. It can't be that way. This world will never progress with people who don't go ahead and try. We're never gonna get better. So I'm begging you to take this journey with me to fail. And when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me too. There's some stuff that's on my list that I've been scared to try. Oh man, the algorithms. I ain't posting no more. I'm only getting 2 likes. I ain't posting no more. And I'm letting that stop me. And in doing that, what about the people who said, like someone said earlier, I needed this? What if I said, no, nobody cares about listening about this topic? Then the person who needs it never gets it. Get out of your way, get out of your head, and get into the field and apply. Get in the field, experiment. Put your lab coat on, get your little big goggles and your gloves, and let's get to work. Let's get to work and let's get into the lab. Let's experiment and let's show the world a new world. Let's make these discoveries. Who else? I want to see. We got 12 more minutes. Who else want to tell me what they're going to be experimenting with? Please. Who else? I got short film with Bert. He said, if I could never fail, then I would create a short film. And people don't realize we look at Insecure and we look at what she did. And we look at a person where I'm looking at these videos that she created on her YouTube channel before she became all that. Now she got people going to LA just to take a picture next to the place they filmed the stuff. And you're like, yo, how you went from, oh, no one's giving me a shot to I'll just create my own show on YouTube to then going on thing where I gotta go and get HBO because my wife wanna watch it. That's the extreme because she bet on herself. It's Issa Rae, right? I had a brain fart for a second. And I'm like, yo, right? Like she created that. But I'm sure she was rejected. I'm sure she had failures, but she didn't stop. She didn't give up. So I don't want none of y'all to give up. Melanie said designing baby headgear, bonnets, and scarves. Please do. Please do. We need some more flavor in there. Like you gotta understand, like Melanie, try that. Get a prototype. Get a prototype. You never know. Somebody gonna be like, yo, where you got this from? And you go and say, oh, I made it. What you mean you made it? Yeah, I made it myself. No, you're lying. No, I made it. Like I made this headgear. Yo, or you took a picture online and someone on social media goes, yo, snap. I went and spoke at my old college, St. John's. And this girl was making some custom carpets that she was making by hand. And one day she told me, was it Travis Scott? I think Travis Scott manager saw it and said, yo, I need one of these for Travis. I said, what? She said, yeah. The day I went to go do the speech, she was shipping the thing to Travis Scott's manager the next day or two. And this is something she was doing because she said, yeah, I just feel like designing this joint. I just feel like trying this. And she put it, and here's the thing. She did it, but here's what I want to encourage all of you. Some of y'all will do something, but y'all going to keep it like it's Las Vegas, and you're going to keep it where it happened. You're not going to share it with nobody because you're scared of criticism. She put it on Instagram, and everybody could have said it's corny, or they could have done even worse. Everyone could have said nothing at all. But she didn't let that stop her from posting. And because she posted it, somebody saw it and then told them, yo, Travis saw it and said, yo, I want one of those. I just want you to know, I don't want the never knowing to stop you from getting. So if Melanie's gonna come and now all of a sudden you never know. Melanie can come up with some baby gear and some bonnets today, and 3 years from now, Baby Gap is knocking on the door. Melanie, we got a Black History Month, or we got a cultural thing that we want to do. Can you go and create these custom for us? How do we know if we don't try? All I know is if Melanie don't do it, Baby Gap ain't coming to her and saying, hey, Melanie, let me get them hats you never created. Let me get them bonnets you never made. Right? Like, they're not gonna say that. I'm not knocking on your door if you ain't got the thing I'm looking for. But if you go and put yourself out there, oh my gosh, what we open the door instead of keeping it shut. Sabrina said, I need to start. Melanie, go ahead. You were saying something? I think I heard Melanie unmuting herself for a second.
I wanted to say thank you for the advice. I appreciate.
Oh, you're welcome, Melanie. That's you when you say it, you get it. Like if you ain't say nothing, you ain't getting no advice. So I want us to understand. Closed mouths don't get fed. I want y'all to eat. We all need to eat. So definitely speak up. Sabrina said, I need to start making robes and slippers again. Come on now. Sabrina, I can't tell you how many times I see people in the airport with it. As a matter of fact, Bert is at LaGuardia Airport right now, and I promise you, he's seen at least 5 people with slippers, and people ain't wearing shoes no more. I'm like, yo, what happened? When did we start wearing slippers outside the house? like the game has changed. And so like, yo, if this is the wave, I'm gonna go and take my surfboard, I'm gonna ride the wave. So Sabrina, definitely go ahead, make them robes. I see everybody posting with their robes and stuff now. Hey, I got this Gucci joint. I got this. Listen, they're rocking it. Why not you? Tiffany said, yes, we got this. We are going to start living our dreams, creativity, life, take a chance. Yeah, please. Bet on you. Everybody, we had the Powerball. They said $950 million, almost $1 billion. There is no lottery ticket like you. I'm gonna say it when I'm coming to my close. There is no lottery ticket like you. You are the winning numbers, but I need you to play. like I understand. Like you are the winning numbers, but I need you to play though. The worst thing to do is have the winning numbers watch it and be like, "Oh shoot, I should have played. Oh my goodness." You are the winning ticket. So play, please. Play. like get in the game and play. Make them discoveries, people. Please. Please. So here's the last thing. You're gonna make discoveries. This is what we're gonna get from the experiments. If you didn't share, no problem. But please take the time out to think about what that experiment is gonna be like for you. What thing you want to try that even though you might fail, you're like, I'm gonna learn something from it. Failure is gonna be my teacher. I'm gonna make the attempt and I'm gonna get feedback, right? No matter what. I can't lose from trying this. And ultimately, when you come out of this experiment, you will make some discovery one way or another. You'll discover that what you thought was right, or you may discover that what you thought was right was wrong. Either way, you learn something. You're gonna make this discovery. Lastly, I need to get to hear from you. I need to hear from all of you. And I got a free gift for everyone who enters this. I'll put this in the chat also, so all of you could fill it out. It's just helpful when we do this kind of presentations. Please fill that out. It takes like 2 minutes. It's feedback. What I told y'all earlier. How do I know that this presentation is successful or not? Is by asking for feedback. I don't know. I know the comments is giving me some good encouraging signs, but I want to just have a place so we could document it. So if y'all could go and click on that link that I just dropped or scan the QR code with your phone, put in the code failing. I'll give you my, I have a failing forward playbook that tells you how to go and take your failing to the next level so that you can get your success on the next level. Go ahead in there. Thank you, Priscilla. I appreciate you. Go ahead. If y'all finish the filling out of this while y'all can, just fill that out real quick. It takes 2 minutes. You'll get the playbook after you finish completing it. Once you're done, just write done in the chat so that we know that you did it. Again, this feedback I'll be sharing with Jason as well so that we can go in here. Tiffany, you fast. Tiffany's done. But thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate you. If you are done, just say done in the chat. But this information allows us, because again, what I said earlier about Warren Buffett, he said, I won't work with anybody who didn't fail 3 times, because those 3 times give me information so I can know how to make a better educated guess next time. As we do these workshops, this feedback is so valuable because it allows us to know what to bring back, what to keep on doing, what to stop doing, and what some new ideas that we can implement so that this can just be better. I've been doing this for years with Hostos. It's one of the highlights of my winter, is to come and speak to all of you. And so I'm super excited that Jason had me back again. Again, if you are done, type in done. And I'm gonna share with you this one last thing that I didn't plan on sharing, but something before I came on here said to do so. And the reason why I'm doing it in particular is because, thank you, Melanie. Melanie said done. The reason I'm doing this is because it's a full circle moment. Full circle moment. Thank you, Priscilla. Priscilla's done. Thank you, Sabrina, done. Right? Full circle moment. The first time I ever spoke at Hostos, it was because of a recommendation by our dear friend, Arel Moody. Jason gave me an opportunity, although having not heard me necessarily speak in person. And on that day, I had shared something that was very vulnerable to me. Very, very vulnerable to me. And it was me sharing my wife and I's struggle with becoming parents. I shared that there was nothing more in the world that I would want. And we had attempts, we had years of waiting, and it didn't happen. And I literally, in front of the Hostos community, got emotional as I shared this story. I shared that story, and I think it may have been maybe 4 or 5 years ago. If y'all were there in the beginning, I want to just share with you this. For those who think that you cannot, and it will not, I just want to encourage you, don't give up. Don't give up. I told you earlier, the best decision I ever made was shooting my shot with my wife. Little did I know it would lead to the next best thing that ever happened to me, which is my son. All of this is not possible if you stop trying. If you don't shoot your shot, if you don't take the attempt, you miss out on all the opportunities. And I don't know what is it that you've been hoping for. I don't know what that next thing that you want, but I do want to encourage all of you to understand that it's available to you. It may not come when you want it. Trust me, I wanted my son 7 years ago. It took 7 years later to get it. But I tell you that I don't remember the 7 years of waiting. I remember the 7 months I've had with him so far, and look forward to 70 more years or whatever how old I'm going to be to experience this moment. And I want all of that for you as well. And so, again, please don't give up. Thank you, all of you, for giving me your attention, giving me your afternoon. And please, let's stay in touch. I saw somebody give me their LinkedIn. I do want to go ahead and I'm gonna click on that because I do want to go ahead and make sure we connect. I don't want this to be the last time I talk to you. As a matter of fact, somebody from Hostos gave me a phone call, Miss Merlene. She called me. We spoke on the phone. We did voicemail tags, but it meant a lot to me that the community is still staying connected even years afterwards. So, Jason, thank you. That's my time, everybody. God bless all of you, and have a great one. Priscilla said, Gio, you've been so inspirational.
Good day.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Sabrina. I appreciate you. Thank you, Sabrina. I've seen your name several times, so I'm glad you were back. Thank you so much. Ashanti, nice to meet you. Thank you. Priscilla said, beautiful family. Thank me. He looks like my wife, so she did it. She made us beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of the afternoon. I know Jason has some announcements that he said he wanted to make before we leave, and I'm gonna just hang out a little bit while he do that. But thank you again, Melanie. You're welcome.
So first of all, I want to thank you, Gio. Obviously, you make such an impression with your ideas and your words, and then you put the exclamation point on it with the photo, and we started talking when you got in here about the baby, and I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Good luck with all that. Stage is a new challenge.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful challenge, but it's a new challenge. I'm learning from a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old how to be a different person each and every day. So I'm very happy for you. And thank you for sharing your wisdom and for challenging us all to continue to fail to move forward.
Absolutely.
Every single one of us has got to do that. And I shot my shot with you. I shot my shot with Arel. I shot my shot with everybody who's going to be with us this week. And you know, Bert's coming tomorrow. I shot my shot. You know, it's what it's all about. It's like saying, can you do this? Will you be able to come back? Will you be able to do this for us on short notice? And you've always been great. I want to thank you for that. And I want to say to everybody, you know, I did the raffle for this morning for Brian's workshop, and I chose 5 people. We're going to do 5 people from this workshop. And one of the prizes that you're going to get is a book from Gio. So Gio has agreed he's going to give us some of the copies of his book. And so we're doing it offline, Gio. It's just impossible to do it
Yeah, no problem.
from the workshop. But I did choose 5. We did 5 names this morning. We're going to get 5 more names this afternoon. And one of the books that you'll be able to choose from, we're going to send a list to the winners that they can choose. One of the books is Gio's book. So you'll let me know after this workshop. So that's something to keep in mind. Tomorrow we have more workshops. You heard from Bert today. I think I even saw Roberta was here today at some point. So both speakers came to support Gio. They'll both be here tomorrow. It's going to be a great day tomorrow, a great day rest of the week. So I hope you'll continue to join us. More surprises along the way too. I really appreciate you for being here. Gio, thank you again for being here. And I look forward to talking to you and getting to know all of you a little bit more as we go through the week. But thank you for being here day one. Gio, thank you for everything. God bless. Kisses to the baby. And I'll see you all tomorrow.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Take care.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.